back in Newcrest with the white siding house that was in my last video. This is like the second part where I'm trying to do the finishing touches. I actually complete the house in this video, so the download link for this house will be in the description. But yeah, I literally went CC shopping because in the last video I was struggling with like the lamp in this living room, and so I went like CC shopping and got a bunch of floor lamps, and I ended up just using the one that I left in there. So yeah, I don't even change that lamp after all that time, but it's fine because now I have more options for when I want to do other stuff later on in other builds. But yeah, I ended up just keeping that lamp, and I think I just do some like clutter and stuff here in the living room, and then we like, you know, furnish the rest of the house. I didn't know like where to put the laundry room and the powder room, or like the half bath, I guess, on the first floor, because there's like a hallway off of the kitchen that goes like to where the back door is, and then there's like an area there, and so I split up the bathroom and the laundry room in that hallway just because I thought it made sense. And then it's kind of like a mudroom kind of vibe, like off of like where the back door is. So, you know, there's like wardrobes there, so your Sims theoretically would be like taking off their boots or whatever if they're like outside. And yeah, and then it just like leads into the laundry room, and then there's of course the like half bathroom that's downstairs. I don't know if I said this before because I can't remember if I showed the upstairs with the build. I didn't like obviously do it until this point, but I don't know if I showed the floor plan last time. But this is like for 5 Sims, I think. So it's like the parents and then their triplets. And I think they have 2 boys and 1 girl. So I guess they're like, what is it called? Is it like fraternal triplets? Is that what it's called? Wait, let me look this up, because low-key, I might... Like, fraternal, it does not mean that they're like, they don't have all the same traits. Born from 3 separate eggs, fertilized by 3 separate sperm. They share the same genetic similarities as other siblings, which means they are no more alike in appearance than any other siblings. Okay, yeah. So that's what they are. They're fraternal triplets. So there's 2 boys and 1 girl. And, yeah. That's, like, who I, you know, based the house off of and who I was decorating the house for. I think that the parents probably have pretty good jobs because this house is kind of, like, a little bit more sophisticated, I guess, than some other Sims houses that might be in the world. But yeah, so they're supposed to like have pretty good paying jobs. I didn't really think that deep into what they did, to be honest, but there is like a downstairs office that's off of the living room. So they definitely have like a home office area for whatever they do. So it must be some kind of like, I don't know, like office kind of job, or like something like that, and be either like a manager somewhere, or, you know, maybe journalism or something. But yeah, they have like a good high paying job. They're probably like, you know how like in The Sims they have levels and stuff to the careers, so they're probably like mid to like slightly high level, like maybe they're like level like 7 in their career, level 8. So they're like doing pretty well for themselves at this point. But yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking about. And I wasn't sure like what the style of the house like was gonna be, or what I wanted it to be. Even when I was furnishing it last time and I did the living room, I still wasn't sure what I was kind of gonna do with the inside. But as I was doing this like first floor and I was like starting to do the dining room and everything, I decided to make it like a mix of modern and traditional. So I wanted things to have like this, they have like mixed pieces. So some of it feels modern, some of it feels traditional. And I think that's like, I like that style a lot of the time because I think it balances out really well. I don't like when things are ultra modern because it feels a little bit too like, I don't know, like stagnant and like cold feeling, almost like kind of business-like. So that's also why I don't think I've done a modern build on this channel. I was going to build one like, I don't even know when that was, maybe like a year ago or a couple of months ago. I was going to build a modern like mansion thing in Del Sol Valley, and I got so overwhelmed with trying to figure out the floor plan and just like the build in general. And it like stressed me out that I just like canceled it and I didn't end up finishing it. I don't know what it is, but like modern builds sometimes just like freak me out, and so I just tend to stick to like traditional type things or like contemporary type stuff. I just feel more comfortable with it. I feel like the most like vintage that I usually go with builds, like the opposite direction of modern, is probably like, I don't know, like Edwardian or like Victorian type houses, or like MCM kind of houses. So it's like that like 60s 70s mod kind of style thing. But yeah, I think the farthest back is probably like Edwardian or like Victorian house styles, and those are super hard to build. I think I've like mentioned that before on the channel, but especially in the game with like how the roofing and stuff works, because there's so many, usually on like Victorian style houses, there's a lot of like balconies and the roofing is very intricate and complicated and there's a lot of details on it. And so it's just like kind of hard with how the tools are in the Sims 4 to make an accurate and just like well done Victorian house, I guess. It's probably a skill issue, to be honest, because I see some really nice Victorian builds from other simmers. But yeah, I don't know, like I've been building for so many years in the Sims, and Victorian houses, they always got me with the roofing and like the amount of porches and like the wraparound porches that are on there. It just like trips me up. I don't know, it ends up like, I think my issue with it is like I'll do the like floor plan or the outside. I usually work off of some kind of reference for Victorian kind of houses, so I'll try and like make the exterior of what it looks like. But then because of the way that like usually it has like big wraparound porches on it, I have to like make that space for the lot size. And so then I end up making the inside really small in comparison, I guess, because otherwise if you build like a big floor plan and then the big porch outside that's like a wraparound, it just looks really gigantic. Because like obviously like the proportions in the game versus real life are going to be very different. So it just ends up looking kind of weird if I want to do it proportionally. And so when I usually do them, it's like the inside of the house will be like really small, and then it's really hard to furnish because there's like weird hallways and stuff like that, which honestly, if like you see houses that were built back then, because sometimes I go on like a little trip on YouTube and I get stuck in these like tour videos of like abandoned Victorian houses, or just like Victorian houses in general, just stuff like maybe it's been restored or it's like a historical kind of thing. So like everything's been what's it called, like everything's been, I can't remember what the word is. My brain's like blanking out, but basically it's been like preserved, I guess. I think that's the word. Like it's been preserved over time, and so it's kind of like become a historical building, and so they like do tours and stuff of them. And so I'll watch those videos, and sometimes they have like super weird layouts. Probably just for like, you know, obviously use of the time of the house was very different from how we use our homes now. And so, you know, like the way the kitchens were, and if the, you know, the people in them were wealthy enough to have like servants and stuff like that, there'll be like a different like scullery type kitchen thing and like these little nooks and crannies. So it's like when I build them and it has like a weird floor plan and things don't kind of make sense, it kind of makes sense in the sense that it doesn't make sense in real life sometimes, at least in like modern standards, of like these weird little rooms and stuff like that. But for like gameplay purposes, I feel like the house, like the layout and everything should make sense. So yeah, I don't know, I just want like a weird rant that little ramble there about Victorian houses, and this isn't even a Victorian house. But yeah, all that to say, I went for a mix of modern and traditional. I don't know why I went on that tangent, but anyways, this is me doing like the office area. I wanted to do kind of like, as I was building the area, you can kind of see like in the kitchen and in the dining room, I kind of kept it kind of neutral, and like muted kind of dark colors. So I kept that kind of theme throughout this house. I think in the kids room, especially the boys room, because they share a room together, and then the sister has her own room. And I think the boys' room is probably like the brightest and most vibrant part of the house. I just like, I don't know, I've been kind of crazy with the saturation. It's still like kind of dark because I did like, you'll see when we get there, but it's like a space kind of themed room. So I just really like doing those rooms, honestly. I love doing space themed bedrooms in The Sims. It's just really fun. And I had a perfect wallpaper for it. So yeah, I decided to go for that. So I think like the two boys of the triplets, I think they're like into space. Like one I think is really into space and wants to be like an astronaut when they grow up, and then the other boy is like really into video games and characters and stuff like that. So maybe he'll grow up and do like game design or something like that, or maybe, I don't know, he'll become like a streamer or something. But that's like the story that I was kind of thinking of. And then the sister of the triplets, she's really into gardening and nature and animals, and her bedroom's kind of like dinosaur themed, because I think she really likes dinosaurs and like old historical stuff like that. So yeah, I think she's just like into dinosaurs, and I was kind of like picturing that maybe she would grow up and want to be an archaeologist. I think she just like likes, you know, finding vintage things, and how more you know, I don't think you can get more vintage than, you know, dinosaur bones. So I think that she wants to be an archaeologist when she grows up. So out of all the kids, it's like one wants to be an astronaut, one wants to be, you know, doing something in like the video game realm, and then the other really loves dinosaurs and archaeology and discovery and stuff like that. So I think that was like the idea that I had when I was doing the kids' bedrooms. So you'll kind of see that when we I mean, you'll really see it because I really went for the themes. I always do that with kids' bedrooms though, because if you're gonna go all out on a theme, you're gonna do it in a kid's bedroom, you know, and when you're decorating in The Sims, because I feel like you can have so much more personality when you do a kid's bedroom, just because, like, I don't know, I feel like kids' bedrooms just have a lot of personality. I feel like the older you get, sometimes, not necessarily always, like everyone's different, but it tends to be that you just kind of have a bedroom and it's like, yep, this is where I sleep when you get older, rather than having stuff that you actually like in there, like, I don't know, hobbies or interests and stuff like that. But yeah, and with the parents' bedroom, I definitely went that route of like, it's a bedroom for grown people, so it's not like super exciting or anything, but I do think it's stylish, because I think they're like the kind of people who would spend money to have somebody come in and interior design their house. I don't know, maybe like they lived here before and it wasn't as fancy, and then as they progressed in their jobs and they had the kids and all that stuff over time, now that they had like enough money in their careers, they decided to have like an interior designer come in and design the house. So I think they've like had this redone. I think maybe they got it like redone before they had the triplets, because I think the triplets are probably like, I don't know, like 8 years old by now. So they got it like maybe like while she was pregnant, like they lived with her parents or like his parents or whatever, while their house was being renovated and designed, and then they came back and it was all done up, and then they've kept it that way ever since, because they ended up having the money at that point in time. But yeah, I think that's kind of what's up. And now we're at the upstairs area, and you can see that I was actually kind of struggling a little bit with the parents' bedroom, because I always do that, because like I said, it's like kind of hard to put a lot of personality, in my opinion, in adult bedrooms. But yeah, I like the way this turned out, because I haven't done, at least I don't think I've done like a moody kind of bedroom in a bit, so I like doing this one because it's very moody. It's actually gonna be painted black at some point, and I think if you're gonna do like a black wall anywhere in your house, the bedroom makes sense because it's like, you know, for sleep. But yeah, it just like feels really cozy in here, and I like the way the colors worked out. I like the way the colors worked out with the piece of art that I put above the bed with the piece of art that I put above the bed. Like I think it brings out the rest of the colors that I put in the room, so I think it turned out pretty well. I always try to like match the interior colors and like mood of like how the main area of a house is with the bedrooms, because I figure if like the same Sims live, you know, in the house as a whole, they're gonna have it designed the same. And that I think like the only exception that I usually make is for kids' bedrooms or like teenage bedrooms, because I think they would have their own say in like what they want for their rooms, or like themed kind of stuff. So it'll probably like branch off into something different, but I like to keep it as consistent as possible with like the, you know, aesthetic or like color palette and stuff that I use throughout homes and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think, is there anything new that's popped up? They're just still talking about like the fairy pack, which I don't care about. I talked about that in my last video. I super don't care about fairies. I also saw, I didn't like click on the video, but I just saw like a thumbnail this morning where it was like, is it more than fairies or something? And then it like showed gnomes or something. Is that right? I can't remember what thumbnail it was, but it's like, that's even worse. Like, not only do I not care about fairies, I couldn't care less about gnomes either. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that pack, but I'm probably not going to get it. But I haven't gotten a new pack in a hot minute, to be honest. So, I don't know. I'm just waiting for bans. And I know I'm kind of like a broken record about that, so I'm going to try and shut up about it, but I really don't care about anything else at this point for this game. So, if they could roll that out, that'd be really cool. I remember when they did like, I mean, they do so many, it's kind of hard to keep track, but I remember they did a survey once, one of the million that they did, and it was like what you want to see next in the game, basically. And then they had all these like different themes. So they had like nostalgia themes. It was like 90s or like 80s stuff or whatever that they were talking about bringing to the game. And that had like landline phones and like all the other stuff, like as it was like listing the stuff that would be in that pack. And some of those things we got with the like time traveler event thing that we got before. What was it before, actually? You know, the time traveler event? That was the last one we had, so it must have been before businesses and hobbies. Is that right? I think it might have been. But anyways, I can't remember. You know, they pull out new packs like every week at this point. Like, I truly don't remember. But I think it must have been before businesses and hobbies, because that's the most recent pack. But anyways, during that like event reward thing, they gave us like, it was obviously like time travel themed or whatever, so it gave us like themed, like nostalgic kind of items, and it gave us landline phone. I mean, they weren't functional landline phones, but you know, modders made it functional, but they had those items in there, so I'm like, are they gonna pursue that pack, or are they not gonna pursue doing that pack? But there was like that in there. I think they had, I remember one that piqued my interest was also like the criminal. It was like a criminal pack, so like there would be like a criminal underworld that your Sims could be like a part of, which would be like expanding on the criminal career. You know what? Actually, I have beef with the criminal career in The Sims 4, because I feel like in The Sims 3, and that's really all I have to really relate it to, because I only played The Sims 3 and The Sims 4. So I don't even know if they had a criminal career in The Sims 2, I'm not sure. But in The Sims 3, I felt like the criminal career was kind of like, I don't know, fleshed out. Like you had like a place to go. You were like, what was it, like a bruiser or something? Or like a, I can't remember what the first stage of it is, but like you're like the brawn, you know? You're the brawn that would come in, like get the dirty work done or whatever. But I feel like with the criminal career in The Sims 4, it's very like cheesy, like it's very like kiddish, I guess. And I wish we had more like of a serious criminal thing, like not like legitimate like really terrible crime stuff, but like even if it was just like becoming I don't know, like a thief or something, and like going up ranks or something like that. But I remember that was like in one of those like surveys or whatever, and I don't know, I think that'd be kind of fun to like play that. I don't know how often I would do it because I play very like, I just play very like happy kind of sim families. I mean, for sure I have drama in my game, like with breakups and like, you know, other nonsense like that, but I don't really like do a lot of like shady stuff, I guess. I mean, I had a Legacy like a couple years ago where like the founder of the Legacy, he was like a, I think they put him in the law enforcement or like detective career, and then he was promoted, or like someone moved him out of that career because he got a opportunity to work in like the secret agent thing. So he ended up being a secret agent, and that was really fun to play actually. Just like the, what's it called? You know, the cards that like come up, the chance cards, is that what it's called? But like the cards that come up when you're in some kind of like active career or whatever. Yeah, I like the cards that come up and like the choices that you have to make. I thought that was kind of interesting, but I wish we had one that was more detailed, I guess, for criminal, and it was less like kid like, I guess. But yeah, I don't know, it is what it is. But I remember that being on the survey, and I thought that was kind of interesting if they made that some kind of game pack. But yeah, I don't know if they're just like taking bits and pieces from that forum and putting it, like slicing it down into different things, which is probably what they're gonna do because they're EA. Because like I said, they put like nostalgic stuff in that event reward thing, and then they did like the shady business person in the businesses and hobbies pack, where you can kind of do like shady stuff in there. So I'm like, are they not going to release like a actual pack that's just like themed with those things, and they're just gonna like put it in bits and pieces of like packs or like event rewards and stuff like that? Because then they'll feel like, you know, if people voted for those things a lot on the survey, when they put it out, that they'd be like, oh, like this is what they'll want, they'll get this pack just because it has it in there because most people voted for this or whatever, right? But they're like not gonna make like a full pack just based on it. So I think that's probably what they're doing because they're EA, but I think it would have been cool, and you know, everything to have like a themed pack. Like imagine like a nostalgic like 90s grunge punk band pack where it has like all this nostalgic items in it, and like you can have garage bands and like work your way up. Like that's what I want, to be honest. Like if they did that, I'd be so down. And like all of like the furniture and like the build items are really like simple and kind of like you know, early 2000s like 90s themed. Like that would be so good, and I know people would eat that up. But I don't know if they're gonna do that. I don't know if they're gonna split everything up like they always do. But yeah, that's really unfortunate. But anyways, enough of me rambling. I think I might go have some ice cream right now because I kind of want some. Honestly, I want this really specific cone that they're doing at DQ right now, because I had it the other day. My sister was like, this is really good, because she had it one day and then I had it the other day, and I was like, this is good, and I've been craving it ever since. And it's far too late for me to go and like get in the car and go to DQ for a cone, so I'm not gonna do that. But I do just have like plain vanilla ice cream in the freezer, so I might go and chomp down on that. But anyways, we only have like, what is it, 15 minutes? I think there's 15 minutes left of this build, and it's really just finishing. I can't believe it took me that long. Wow, 15 minutes. So the next 15 minutes is going to be the kids' bedrooms. I guess it took me that long, which is kind of crazy because this is sped up by like 400%, so that's kind of crazy. But anyways, that is what I'm going to leave you with for now. So I will see you guys next time. As always, the download link for this build is going to be in the description. And yeah, I guess I'll just see you guys in the next video. Bye.